Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Best Football Show. I am Brian Baldinger. I'm here nearly every single day, and as we get closer and closer to the season, it will feel like every day. This is the Best Football Show. You can download a free Odyssey app, and you can find this show, the Best Football Show, and you can like it, subscribe to it. You can comment on it. We'd love to hear all of your feedback. Look, today, and you can find me at Baldy NFL across all the social media platforms. But we got some news today. Exactly 2 weeks today, the season kicks off. Cowboys visiting the Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field, Thursday night, September 4th. But today, we've had two trades happen in the last day. Skyy Moore, once highly thought of in Kansas City, kind of faded with some injuries and other guys coming on board. Once caught a touchdown in a Super Bowl win against the Eagles. Skyy Moore got traded to the San Francisco 49ers, they're waiting on some receivers to get healthy. Brandon Aiyuk still has not recovered and is not ready to go yet. We'll start the season on PUP with that ACL tear from a year ago. Demarcus Robinson, a guy that I think they're counting on big time, isn't healthy right now. So Skyy Moore changes teams. The Kansas City Chiefs, Tyquan Thornton has looked good. They're waiting on Hollywood Brown. They're waiting on Xavier to get healthy. They're waiting for Rashee Rice to get healthy. So they've got depth at that position. Tyquan Thornton actually looks pretty good. One time ran a 4.28 at a Baylor at the combine. They got guys that can flat out fly. So Skyy Moore became expendable. And San Francisco was looking for another receiver that can fit in and catch passes, from their star quarterback. The other trade they got made was Harrison Phillips leaves the Minnesota Vikings to go to the New York Jets. And if you just think about what the Vikings did this year in bringing in Jonathan Allen and, other defensive tackles, Javon Hargrave came on board. Jalen Redmond has looked good. They've got a free agent rookie out of Morgan State, Williams, that have caught everybody's eye there in 2 preseason games. Harrison Phillips became expendable, but it doesn't mean Harrison Phillips, who started in Buffalo, coming out of Stanford, went to Minnesota, had great success, and now the Jets are just looking for run stuffers. Honestly, they're looking for depth along their defensive front. They've been looking for run stuffers for 4 years now. And so since John Franklin Myers left, they've been looking for guys that can really stack up the run. So Harrison Phillips, who's a good player, I just saw him in Eagan, Minnesota. When was the last time I was there? Last week, maybe, was I in Minnesota last Wednesday? I was just there, my final stop of my training camp tour. But he's a good player. He's healthy. I think it's a good trade. The Vikings get a 6th and 7th round pick from the Jets, and the Jets get themselves a really good, solid football player. And I don't want to say he's just a run stuffer. He's got some pass rush ability as well. And then the other bit of news might have not caught everybody's eye, but it caught my eye because I like the player, Xavien Howard, who had been with the Miami Dolphins coming out of Baylor. I mean, guy's got 29 interceptions now. Once led the league in interceptions 4 years ago with 10. He's got 29 interceptions now. He didn't play last year. The last 2 years at Miami, he didn't have a lot of production, but he played with and played for Lou Anarumo in Miami. And now he rejoins Lou Anarumo, knows what he expects, knows how he's going to coach, knows what his value is, joins a Colts team, I think, that's going to have really good pass rush. And I think these guys on the back end are going to have some chances to go get the football. And in his heyday, and I'm not going to say Xavien Howard can't still be in his heyday, but in his heyday, he could really cover. He was really sticky. He had tremendous man-to-man coverage ability. So I don't know any team in this league that wouldn't welcome a player of Xavien Howard's ability. Now, he's only 29 years old. I don't know how healthy he is right now, but Xavien Howard to the Indianapolis Colts. All right, now, we started this over a month ago, but we were breaking down division by division. The division we want to get to right now is the NFC North because it looks absolutely like the best division football. And let's just start at the bottom because the last time we saw Chicago play this past weekend, Caleb Williams made his debut in the BJO, the Ben Johnson offense, and he looked fantastic. First 2 drives, moved the team First drive, right down the field, touchdown. Second drive, they're moving, and Rome Odunze dropped an out route on third down that could have extended that drive. But what we saw from Caleb is what I think all of us were looking for, a very disciplined player and a very well-designed offensive scheme. And could he be disciplined in it? First play of the game, basic bootleg, roll out to his right. There's the rookie, Colston Loveland, right there in the flat. Don't overthink it. Make the completion. Let Loveland go get you 8. And it was like that. Second down and 2. Read the coverage. It looks like, Tampa 2. Safeties look disguised, and they look like they're dropping wide. He reads it, and he hits Cole Kmet right down the seam for 29. Read the defense, had the play called, and right down the field. So, like Caleb Williams, if he can play a disciplined style of football behind an improved offensive line, let's face it, they just traded away Braxton Jones, makes way for Ozzie Trapillo or, this Benedict, this rookie free agent, from Canada. Looks like he might step in and play, but regardless, they're going to have an improved interior offensive line. And the 2 rookies, Luther Burden in the slot and Colston Loveland, look like fantastic players. In fact, when you watch Luther Burden play, you go, the guy looks like he can do it all. I mean, he's your slot receiver, blocker, run game. He did it all. So anyways, I'm starting at the bottom, but obviously Detroit won 15 games last year. We can't overlook it. They lost a lot. They lost their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. They lost their defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn. They're both head coaches. Congratulations to Dan Campbell for developing those guys and giving those guys an opportunity. That's what happens when you have a good program. You're going to lose good coaches. And they lost 2 good coaches, but they feel like they've got the guys in-house to replace them. So we'll see. But they also lost Frank Ragnow, the all-pro center. They lost Kevin Zeitler, not an all-pro right guard, but a really good right guard. Talk to anybody that has played with or against Kevin Zeitler, they'll tell you he could be one of the strongest players in the league. Now, they've drafted some guys, and they have some depth there, and so I think they're going to be okay, but that's a lot to replace. I often have said to replace good coaches sometimes it's harder than to replace great players. And then to replace, Frank Ragnow, your offense line is as good as your center. And Frank was as good as there was in his league. Big, athletic, get on the perimeter, you name it. He could do it all. So that's that. Green Bay, the Green Bay Packers had a good season last year. And I'm skipping around here in the North just because it doesn't really matter. Like, these teams are all going to be competitive. It's all going to be must-see TV. In fact, the Minnesota Vikings play the Bears on Monday night to kick off the season. The schedule makers know it's going to be a good division. But if you look at the Green Bay Packers, I mean, their problem when they came to Philly wild card weekend was they just weren't explosive. I mean, it was a 16-10 game late in the third quarter. They couldn't get the ball down the field. They're throwing the ball to backup receivers because of injuries. And Matthew Golden comes in, who arguably was as good a receiver as it was coming out of this draft, and he looks really good at this point. So they're going to be able to run the ball, and Josh Jacobs is back. And, what they did defensively last year is why they made the switch and brought Boston College's head coach in to be the defensive coordinator. They wanted a 4-man rush to affect the quarterback, and they wanted to take the ball away, and they did both. I think they had 31 takeaways. Xavier McKinney, what did he have? Did he have 9 interceptions last year? He had a big number. They want to rob the middle of the field, force everything to the middle and rob it, take it away. And that's what they did. And then there's the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings won 14 games. And I was there last week, and I got to admit that whatever you want to think about J.J. McCarthy, that team around the quarterback is very talented. They've upgraded the offense line. Donovan Jackson comes in. Will Fries comes in. Ryan Kelly comes in. They get their Pro Bowl left tackle back. I mean, they're going to be good up front. And Aaron Jones is ready for prime time. And Jordan Mason gets brought in from San Francisco. They want to run the football. They want to power run the football. Aaron Jones had a great season last year. Justin Jefferson is as good as there is. We know that We know that Jordan Addison is going to be suspended the first 3 games, but they've got other Jalen Naylor. They've got other players. They've got they've got everything on offense. Can the quarterback, who's going to be well coached by Kevin O'Connell, who's a great play caller, can he make some explosive plays, take care of the football, and keep this offense on schedule? Because defensively, they're very talented. And it starts with Brian Flores. Brian Flores has come up with this blitz zero scheme where he lines up, depending on your formation, 6, 7, 8 guys at the line of scrimmage. And you really are left in a quandary. Are they all coming? And if they do we have enough blockers? So do we go max protection and maybe they bring everybody and we're okay? Or do they drop 4 guys out, rush 4, and we're max protection and we have 3 options to throw to and they've got 7 guys covering? I mean, those are some of the conundrums that teams find themselves into. And then the ability to get free hitters to the quarterback, to speed him up and to rush everything. And it's not just third downs. I mean, Brian Flores will throw that at you on first down. But that works if you're good against the run. And they were second in the league against the run. And they've upgraded, I think, the run defense in bringing in Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. Now, they just traded away Harrison Phillips, as we've talked about earlier on this podcast. And he's a good player, but I think they've got some depth and some youth there that they really like. So, anyways, I think, you look at Byron Murphy Jr., like he's had 9 interceptions last 2 years with Brian Flores after not doing much in Arizona. And he knows, and he's a good thief. He's young. He's really smart. He's got great ball instincts. Harrison Smith could be going to the Hall of Fame one day with what he's done at safety. I mean, they've got all the pieces to be really, really good. They tied Pittsburgh for the league with 33 takeaways last year. And if you give 30 or more takeaways to this offense, regardless of what J.J. McCarthy becomes, they're going to score points. They're just that good. T.J. Hawkinson this time last year wasn't even practicing. He was coming back from a major knee injury. He's ruling the middle of the field now. Had a good second half of the season. So you look at this division and you go, okay, maybe Detroit's still the favorite, but it's a gauntlet, all these division games. Green Bay, Minnesota, and now Chicago. And you talk to the guys in Chicago, and they feel like Ben Johnson is, first of all, he's trained them, and training camp was harder. Talking to a guy like Montez Sweat. He told me this is his 7th year in the NFL. He told me it was the toughest training camp he's had to go through. The toughest. I mean, I've been out there to Hallis Hall, and I've seen the contact. I've seen the physicality. I've seen I feel like there's just no room for nonsense. And just the little things Ben Johnson did. Like, for example, yesterday, they just gave Tyson Bagent a new 2-year extension, $10 million extension. And honestly, I feel like part of it, Tyson's earned it. He's been a good backup player. He's played very well in the preseason. But you hear Ben Johnson talk about him, and he's sending a message to Caleb Williams. Like, before he even gave him the contract, he was saying, hey, you just took us 18 plays, 94 yards, touchdown, great throw to Maurice Alexander to get it in the end zone. That's what we want. We want efficiency. We want accuracy. We want good decision-making. And I just think he's sending a clear message to Caleb. Like, all right, the backup is doing well. We just gave him a new contract. And I'm sure Caleb's looking around going, all right, I hear you, coach. I hear what you want. So anyways, the coaches are excellent. Ben Johnson, I think, is going to be a good one. Dan Campbell, we know, is a great one. We know Kevin O'Connell can coach. We know Matt LaFleur has done nothing but win in Green Bay. It's the best division in football. And these division games starting week 1 on Sunday night or Monday night on ESPN, to have Chicago and Minnesota play. In fact, Chicago's first 2 games are division games. It's going to be must-see TV. Anyways, that will do it to kind of look big picture at the NFC North. We'll break each individual team down in the next time we meet right here on the Best Football Show.